Yeah, sorry about that. I have to had to shut the door and move some stuff around just so I can, well, actually move my shoes so I can have a little bit more room here. So, sorry about that little bit of delay there. And if you hear anything in the background, it's the fan. I have to keep it on because it's, yeah, I have to keep it cool because apparently my room's one of the hottest rooms in the house. So, so the sun comes directly through the window and right up here, whatever. But anyway, that's not what I'm here for. I'm going to get straight to the point. I've talked about this. A lot of people have talked about this, and I think this is a big question. A lot of people should be asking anybody, or asking themselves, especially if they're a fan of both or one or the other. And that is, what is the difference? What is the comparison? The difference between Infinity and Amiibo. Basically, how do you compare? How do you look at the positives and the negatives when it comes to both brands? Now we know that when Skylanders started out, they just started out as, I guess, a card game or something like that, and then the creators decided to say, hey, let's do it into a game series, and now we've got this big phenomenon of a franchise. But the question, and that's basically what's gotten the ball rolling, but the obvious question a lot of people would have is, what was the big deal with them? And I think the big deal that made Skylanders so popular, in fact, you can even watch a ton of YouTube videos. They will tell you what caused that phenomenon to become what it is, as well as watch what Chris Brown's Irate Gamer, who I am going to ask right now if he wants to do a response to this video and give his own opinions. But, on what I'm about to talk about, with the best that I can. But anyway, if you talk to Chris, or you listen to what Chris says, and then you listen to what other people say, you kind of get an idea of what made Skylanders the phenomenon it is today. And I think the real reason was you were able to take little figures, place them on a gamepad that was provided in a set, either individually or in a set, and you were able to play as that figure. And you were also able to get different game pads in which that figure would interact with, as well as you would get special power-ups, like little discs that would either come with the figure, or come with the set, or come with the platform that you were going to be purchasing. You'd get these little power discs that either were like for a set, for like a setting, either a setting like a forest, or an ocean, a forest-like environment, or ocean-like environment, or you get little discs, if you will, that will give you power-ups. So the biggest question, anybody that would wonder what made Skylanders so popular, well, one of the main reasons, that was the reason, because you were able to take actual figures and they became interactive with the game that you had. Now, obviously, a lot of companies wanted a piece of that, and so far, the only two companies that succeeded in a way of incorporating that into their own brands, as far as I'm concerned, have been Disney and Nintendo. Now, Nintendo obviously hit a gold mine when they did the Amiibos, because now there's just so many waves of Amiibos, being released, that a lot of the previous waves are being re-released, in almost unlimited quantities. In other words, some of the older ones are being re-released, and just like a reissuing of, let's say, a classic figure, these figures that used to go for maybe $13, $14, $15, could go for enormous prices sometimes on Amazon, eBay, iOffer, you name it. Some of them are going down in price. I'll give you an example. I bought a Princess Peach Amiibo over at GameStop for about $12.96, I think. Yeah, $12.96. But the Smash Brothers version, and this was the Princess Peach version that came out later. the more like the Super Mario Brothers, Mario Kart Amiibo version of the princess that went like this instead of like this, you know. So anyway, she was $12.96 and about the same price over at my job, maybe $1 more. But then the Smash Brothers figurine of Peach has been reduced to about $3. So any of the figures that were Smash Brother Amiibo figures that were released mainly for Smash Brothers, or mainly because of Smash Brothers, as well as let's say Mario Kart 8 and such, those Amiibo figures have been reduced in price by $2-3. You know, at places like my job, Walmart, and all the other places that that distribute them, that sell them. From what I've seen. Now some do get reduced in price. In fact, GameStop does buy used Amiibos, believe it or not. I saw a used Pikachu, a used Link in packages, not like what you normally see Amiibos in, but just regular GameStop packages, and they were like for $10, $9, $7. Now I don't know if there was something wrong with them, or whoever sold them just said, look, we have enough of these. Oh, this person has 2 Pikachus, he or she wants to sell the other. I don't really know. But I do know the fact that these figures, especially the original wave, the original first wave, or line if you will, has been reduced considerably in price by at least $2, $3, $4. Which is why you see Nintendo, obviously from the reports, re-releasing and reissuing all these first wave figures that was selling out like hotcakes and going for enormous prices on eBay and stuff. And why they're re-releasing them and reissuing them once again, because not only are they making room for the new Amiibos, but they want to give everybody a chance to get the first Amiibos that they couldn't get in the first place. That's just my opinion. Now, that's a good thing that Nintendo is doing, despite how you feel about them. However, on the Disney side of things, when they brought out the Infinity, a lot of people looked at Disney when they made the announcement that they were doing this as ripping off what Skylanders had done. And true, it's very Skylander-like in a lot of sense. I mean, you had figures that you had to place on a platform that came to life on the screen that you got to play as, and you got to help build environments, I guess. I don't know if building environments was one of the main things of Skylanders. I don't know if it was. I can't really say. But I think what's made Infinity so popular is that addition, I think, that maybe Skylanders had or didn't have, and that is allowing the person, the player, to build their own environments through these toy box, through these toy boxes that are provided in the game. You're able to build, just like let's say Minecraft, you're able to, or SimCity, you're able to build your own environment. You're able to like build Cinderella's castle. You're able to build a city, build a forest, or whatever. And true, there are similarities to Skylanders. I mean, I'm pretty sure Skylanders has like a set to where one of the main pieces you got to put down is a set piece, and it could be just like a little figure, or let's say of a building, like let's say which came with the Black Widow and Iron Man that I got recently, and it gives you, and not only do you place that down to unlock that setting, but you put it down to unlock that version of the game. Now, some people might say that that's an advantage that Infinity and even Skylanders have over Nintendo and their Amiibos. And I think when you take a look at the positives and the negatives, the positives with Nintendo's Amiibos is you don't need to physically buy a gamepad controller of any kind, because your Wii U gamepad or your Nintendo 3DS are all you need to use your Amiibos and unlock any special items that you got. The negative, though, is that's all you do. That's all you do. Now, I understand that they're trying to go beyond that. They're trying to improve on that, especially with the Mario Maker, to where, let's say, you take the Amiibo figure of, let's say, Zelda, which I have right here. You put her on the gamepad or the 3DS, and you're able to get. And once you get this special mushroom with the question mark, you can play as an 8-bit version of Zelda. Same with, let's say, the Wii Fit Trainer, and such. So those are the only advantages, that you get to play. Like, let's say with Mario Maker, you can play as 8-bit versions of the characters that have never been 8-bit. Never have been. Like, let's say you can put Sonic on there. Sonic's got an Amiibo figure, right? You put Sonic on there, and you can play, maybe, possibly, as an 8-bit version of Sonic. So, that would be intriguing in its own right, especially if it's a Nintendo 8-bit version of Sonic. But even though those are positive to where you unlock those kind of things, as well as, let's say, costumes, different unlockables, like, let's say, music and Smash, like, say, different costumes, that power-ups and things like that, even though those are all good, there are some negatives. Now, I understand, I know some people might say, and I understand what people will say when they point out, well, when you put the Amiibo on for Smash, you can play as that figure. Yeah, you can play as you can play, but you can't play as your Amiibo, as far as I know, because your Amiibo actually learns and starts to play on its own via computer. And yeah, you do get special power-ups and stuff like that, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, that does happen. But like I said, those are the only things you get. Are these power-ups. That's all you get. Now, hold on for a sec. Man, just checking something. Like I said, that's all you get, right? That's all you really get. It's just power-ups, unlockables, like I said, unlockables basically, like power-ups, costumes, things like that. That's all you really get. However, as much as that's a positive, that's also a negative. And again, I think that's when Nintendo has made the announcement that they're trying to probably work on that, because now they're collaborating with Skylanders to incorporate Nintendo characters like, first of all, Bowser and Donkey Kong into the next Skylanders game. And here's why. Because as much as a positive as it is for these Amiibos to allow you to do, allow you to unlock certain things and do certain things with these unlockables that you get, it's not enough. And sometimes you can't even incorporate certain Amiibos into certain games. You can't. You can't incorporate, let's say, your Zelda or your Link or your Luigi Amiibo into Splatoon. It won't let you do it. It won't let you do possibly Splatoon figures into Smash or Mario Kart. They won't let you do it. Now, there are certain games that will let you incorporate it, like Yoshi does it with certain Amiibo figures. So does, Hyrule Warriors, possibly the next Zelda game, whenever it comes out. Star Fox, probably, no doubt, Star Fox Zero is going to probably incorporate them. But the thing is, as much as that's a possibility, again, it's a negative, because certain games are only going to be limited to what certain Amiibos can work with it. And that, to me, hurts the Amiibos in a sense that as much as, as popular as they are, I think the popularity is only because they're collectible. In fact, it even says it on the box. It says collect, customize, and complete. And that's what sticks out in my mind right there, is the collect word. Because I think that's all these are. Yes, you can use them for your games to unlock a lot of things. But that's all they're for. And they're mainly just collectibles. I mean, there are people right now, as I speak, that have bought these Amiibo figures in box. And instead of saying, hey, I'm going to use them to unlock this and that, they're pretty much figuring what I'm. They're pretty much thinking what I'm thinking, and a lot of other people are thinking. That we can unlock them, we can open them up and use them to unlock certain things, but what's the point? All we're doing is unlocking this and that. It has no real meaning. We're getting a power up to 50. Whoopee! We're getting a new costume. Whoopee! What's the point? And again, that's a negative. So what do these people do? They take Amiibo figures and they place them on the walls, hang them on the walls as collectibles. That's what they do. That's all they do. And again, there's a lot of people that have already done that. There are. Because they pretty much figure there's no real point in using the Amiibos in the game if all you're going to get is a power-up. Or all you're going to get is this. All you're going to get is that. When can you physically use an Amiibo? Now again, I know some people might say, well, you can do it in Smash. Yeah, but in a sense, from what last time I understood, you can't. Your Amiibo is only there to be like your tag partner or whatever, and just learn on its own and fight on its own. Again, nothing against the Amiibos. I think they're a great idea. Because one, the advantage that Nintendo has with them is you don't need to buy a separate platform to put them on. The platform has already been given to you via your Wii U gamepad and your Nintendo 3DS. But again, the negative is you can only do so much. You can only unlock and do so much with them, and they're limited to what games you can play or use them on. And that's why some people, I think, as much as they like Amiibos, all they're going to really do with them is collect them. They're not going to, use them anymore for the games. They're just going to say, hey, Nintendo finally put out some official game figures, of all the popular games or third-party games. Hey, guess what? I'm going to buy them, but I'm not going to use them for what they're advertising. I'm just going to buy them to collect them because you know what? It's about damn time they had some official figures. End of story. And again, that's a negative because that hurts. Because in a way, that goes against what Nintendo's original purpose before them was. And the original purpose was not just to be collected, but to be used. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to Infinity, what makes them so popular and what positives they have is they're following the same route. The positives that Infinity have over Nintendo's Amiibos is the fact that you're able to use the figures just like you would in Skylanders. You could take a figure, like this is my Elsa figure. I mean, you pretty much knew, me being an Elsa fan, I was going to get her. Pretty much you could take your figures, just like you would in Skylanders, place them on the platform, and yes, you do have to get a platform, and you can play as these characters. They say, as soon as you play